Hello everyone, here are some grammar exercises on present tenses. And there are three tenses. The first one is simple present tense. Second one, present continuous tense. And lastly, present perfect tense. Okay, so before we fill in the blanks, and you have to ask yourselves like two things. The first one is, so which tense should we use? Which tense should we be using? And then you have to look at the whole sentence, and then if there are some signal words there, so that will be easier. And secondly, so you have to find out whether you have to use active voice or passive voice. So for active voice, that means the subject can do the action, and then we use active voice. If the subject cannot do the action, okay, and we have to use passive voice. Let's take a look at question number 1. I always have my breakfast in bed. We are talking about a habit. So this is a habit. And that's why we have to use we can simply use simple present tense. And I can do the action. And that's why active voice, so the answer becomes I always have my breakfast in bed. Question number 2, he learned English now. Okay, so you can see this signal word here, now, which means we are talking about the action that is happening. So this is the activity happening right now. And that's why we have to use present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. And then the subject, he can do the action. And that's why present continuous tense, active voice. And the answer becomes he is learning English now. Question number 3. I can't find my strawberries. They must eat by my younger brother. So first of all, again, so you can find some signal words here, okay, some hints here, just like by. And that's why it should be giving you a hint that this should be in passive voice. Plus, we are talking about a recent completed action. And that's why we have to use present perfect tense and then passive voice here. Present perfect tense, passive voice, so becomes have been, and the PP for eat is eaten. So I can't find my strawberries. They must have been eaten by my younger brother. Question number 4, if you heat water, it boils. If you look at this, the whole sentence pattern, this is actually a conditional sentences and conditional type 0 because we are talking about something which is always true. If this is a conditional type 0 pattern, so we are using simple present tense for the if clause and then also simple present tense for the main clause. So that's why the answer, it boils. If you heat water, it boils. Okay, question number 5. Usually, so there are altogether 3 blanks for question number 5. Usually, I work as a secretary at ABT, but this summer, I studied French at a language school in Paris. That is why I be Paris. Okay, let's take a look at them one by one. First of all, when you see some signal words here again, usually, that means we are talking about something that is true, okay, for a long time. And that's why, for the first blank, we should be using simple present tense. And then I can do the action, I can work. And that's why simple present tense, active voice. Usually, I work as a secretary. And then here, but this summer. Okay, but this summer, that means, okay, this is a temporary situation. This is something, okay, that is, that is not true, okay, for a long time. So this is something that is temporary. And that's why we have to use present continuous tense. Present continuous tense. I am studying French at a language school in Paris, okay, this summer. And that is why, okay, that's why. I am talking about like my existence here, okay? So like where I am, and that's why we have to use simple present tense and an active voice. That's why I am in Paris. Question number 6, be quiet. John, sleep. I'm giving you like a reminder, okay, or yes, a reminder, okay, a warning that John is actually doing something, okay? So this is the activity happening now. And that's why we have to use present continuous tense. And then John can sleep, active voice, John is sleeping, okay? And that's why be quiet, okay? Otherwise, you're going to wake him up. Question number 6 and question number 7. We are talking about like a description, okay? Or description of like this situation. The cat killed the rat for number 7. And then number 8, the rat killed by the cat. Actually, they mean the same thing, okay? But the subjects are different. If you understand number 7, you should be able to understand number 8. Okay, so for number 7, so this is a description, okay, of the whole scenario, and that's why we can simply use simple present tense, okay, simple present tense, and then active voice because the cat can kill the rat. Simple present tense, active voice, the cat kills the rat. And of course, if you really want to talk about like this is a recently completed action, okay, with no time mentioned, you can also use present perfect tense. And that's why it's also okay when you write has killed the rat. And just like what I've told you, if you know number 7, you should know number 8 because the subject has been changed to, okay, from the cat to the rat. And you can see this signal word here, by, and that's why we should be using passive voice. So the answer becomes the rat is killed by the cat, or, okay, so just like here, if you want to use present perfect tense, it's okay too. But you have to make sure that you are making it passive voice. Has been killed. Has been killed. Okay? Okay, so some more questions to talk about. Question number 9. I live in Tsim Sha Tsui. Okay, so this is a situation. Okay, so that this is something that is true. Okay, for quite a long time. It's a relatively permanent situation, and that's why number 9 is super easy. So we are using simple present tense active voice. I live in Tsim Sha Tsui. Number 10. My wallet just found. We are actually talking about a recently completed action, and you can also see this signal word here, just. Okay, and that's why we have to use present perfect tense. And can the wallet find itself? No, and that's why we have to use passive voice. Present perfect tense, passive voice. So my wallet has just been found. Okay, and then let's go to number 11. We are talking about two actions like happening at the same time. How do we know that? Because you can find this connective. This is a connective of time. Okay, so this is a connective of time. If we are talking about two actions happening at the same time, so with the longer action, okay, so which one is the longer action? What do you think? So watch should be the longer action. For the longer action, we use continuous form. So Sally is watching because she can watch something, active voice. And then for the shorter action, we use simple form, okay, simple tense. So when her sister phones her. Okay, so for number 12, so this is something that will happen in the future, okay? So this is an event in the future. So if we are referring to an event in the future, besides using simple future tense, we can also use present continuous tense. So we are getting married in October. Okay, so we are getting married in October. Or actually, you can also use simple present tense to talk about like the event in the future. I mean the scheduled event in the future. And that's why it's also okay. We get married in October. It's okay too. It's okay too. Okay, so we have got the last 5 questions to talk about. Question number 13. He lived in Japan for 10 years. So this is an action. Okay, so this is an action that started in the past and then it continues up to the present. Okay, so this is an unfinished activity. Okay, so it continues up to the present time. And that's why we have to use present perfect tense. Plus, you can see the signal words here for 10 years. Okay, for 10 years. And that's why we have to use present perfect tense. He has lived in Japan for 10 years. Okay, so number 14, this letter, write by Peter. If we are just describing, okay, so the whole scene, so we use simple present tense, or you can also refer to an recently completed action, okay, and that's why you can either use simple present tense or present perfect tense. But the most important point is that you can see by here. Plus, the letter cannot write itself, and that's why you must be using passive voice here. So the answer can either be this letter is written by Peter, or this letter has been written by Peter. Okay, so number 15, if we are talking about like some past experiences, okay, whether you have done something, okay, but we are not mentioning like the time, and we tend to use present perfect tense. Have you ever been to Scotland? And then with a question mark here. Okay, number 16, actually number 16 is very similar, okay, to question number 12. Okay, so we are talking about the future time. We are talking about some fixed events on the timetable. And that's why we can either use present continuous tense or simple present tense. And the plane can leave, can do the action. And that's why we use active voice. The plane is either leaves or is leaving at 5 p.m. Okay, lastly. Okay, for question number 17, is very similar. Okay, it's very similar to question number 15. We are talking about like the experiences, the past experiences, especially for the number of the times, okay, that you have done something. And that's why we use present perfect tense. Okay, with the not here, we just put not in between, and then with the PP here. Okay, you have not seen, because you can do the action. Okay, we use active voice. You have not seen that movie many times. Okay, so I hope that you have got a better idea of our present tenses. We have simple present tense, present continuous tense, and present perfect tense. Okay, thank you.